10 best places in Texas to visit. Hello and welcome to my channel. One of the largest states in the US, Texas is totally vast and totally epic to explore. With heaps of cities, national parks, and coastal retreats, it's the kind of state that's got a little something for every type of traveler. Plus, you won't be lost for things to do with all the best places in Texas dotted all across the state. You're going to be spoiled for choice. We had the most amazing time on our road trip across Texas and totally loved how diverse the state is. Of course, you've got the historic spots in San Antonio, the bustling downtown area of Houston and Austin, but there's so much to see outside of the cities too. So, to help you get the most out of your visit to Texas, I want to share some top gems. Take a look below at the best places in Texas to visit. Had an amazing time exploring and driving across the state. Before we begin, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any future updates. Number 1. San Antonio. The second city we visited when traveling through Texas. San Antonio is a total treat to explore. It's such a lovely city to explore and great for a long weekend city break. Once here, be sure to first stop off at the Alamo. Historically, the site of the Battle of Alamo, it's one of the state's most iconic spots relating to Texas independence. Situated in the downtown area of San Antonio, it's an incredible place to explore, especially with the chapel and long barracks too. Number 2. Big Bend National Park. Big Bend National Park might just be one of the best places in Texas to visit for the great outdoors. Perched along the western border of Texas, it's the kind of place that's got heaps to see and do for a few days trip. Once here, be sure to hike the South Rim Trail that's so beautiful. Yes, it's around 12 miles and not for the faint-hearted. It's the kind of hike that's worth the challenge. Though saying that, never head out on a hike if you're not totally convinced you can complete the trail. This is especially true with arduous hikes like the South Rim Trail. If you're unsure, check in at the Chisos Visitor Center before you set out. This way you'll get an update on local conditions. Alternatively, hike on the Santa Elena Canyon Trail that follows the Rio Grande and the international border with Mexico. Just be sure to pack oodles of sunscreen and plenty of water. Oh, and don't forget to stop off at Santa Elena Canyon Overlook, which is easily reached by car. Number 3. Austin. A perfect stopping point when driving west from Houston. Austin is filled with the coolest coffee spots, eateries, and bars that make this city totally fun. Depending on how long you spend, be sure to visit the Texas State Capitol building that dates all the way back to the 1800s. Just like when it was built, the Capitol building still holds the same prestige and history. It easily puts it as one of the best places in Texas to visit. Best of all, it's really easy to follow a self-guided tour of the grounds or a guided tour of the building itself. These typically take place every 30 to 45 minutes, and it's well worth joining. Also not too far away is the Bullock, Texas State History Museum, where you can literally spend days inside. There are so many exhibition halls and shows off the ever-changing story of Texas. Fancy a gander away from the city streets, head over to nearby McKinney Falls State Park. The trails around Onion Creek are so chilled and relaxing for a weekend jaunt. Number 4. Amarillo. Nestled just off the historic Route 66, Amarillo is a perfect stopping point to explore and rest up when visiting the best places in Texas. Once here, take some time to explore the beautiful Amarillo Botanical Gardens and the Amarillo Museum of Art. They're both lovely spots to visit, especially when on a day trip to the city. Plus, if you're driving, stop off at Cadillac Ranch that's along Route 66 itself. An art installation of Cadillac cars that's got a new age Stonehenge vibe that's actually pretty cool to see. Afterwards, head over to Palo Duro Canyon, which is around a 30-minute drive from the center of Amarillo. The areas around Capitol Mesa and Lighthouse Peak are just stunning. You'll also find heaps of trails from easy to strenuous, which make it a great spot for an afternoon away from the city itself. Finally, if you are driving the historic Route 66 through Texas, don't forget to stop off at Shamrock for a little nosy around. It's around a 90-minute drive east of Amarillo and perfect for a pit stop for an hour. Plus, you'll get to see the Tower Station and U Drop In Cafe, which are totally iconic. Number 5. Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Right on the border with New Mexico, Guadalupe Mountains National Park is one of the best places in Texas to visit if you want some time in the great outdoors. The park itself is totally diverse with great forests, vast mountainous regions, deserts, and deep canyons too. You might even get to spot some of the desert animals too. This means you should watch out for rattlesnakes, especially when hiking the trails. Talking of hiking, you can also head to Pine Springs Canyon for some of its incredible trails. For some of the best, follow the Devil's Hall Trail or the Pine Springs Trailhead, which branches off with lots of trails that crisscross the area. Number 6. Dallas. Nestled in the north of the state, Dallas is sometimes missed if you're heading on a wider U.S. road trip across Texas. go. With it only being a 3-hour drive from Austin, it's the kind of city that's pretty easy to visit. After getting to Dallas, your first port of call has to be the Museum of Art. It's incredible and possibly one of our favorites in all of Texas. Founded well over 100 years ago, it has thousands of pieces. As you stroll, look out for the iconic painting by Jean-Baptiste Marie Pierre that was painted all the way back in the 1700s. Then, after getting your art fill, pop over to the stunning grounds of the Dallas Arboretum. Not just for the summer, and this garden has heaps of seasonal events and blooms that make it a totally gorgeous spot to visit at any time of the year. They even have a Christmas village in December. Fancy an adrenaline-full day? Get yourself over to Six Flags over Texas. It's a huge theme park that has some white-knuckle rides that'll leave your throat sore from screaming. You can easily spend a whole day here. Number 7. New Braunfels. Not too far from San Antonio, New Braunfels is pretty easy to visit as you're heading between Austin and San Antonio. In fact, it's a perfect little stopping point for a little chill out. After taking a little stroll beyond Peter and Paul's Church, get yourself over to Sklitterbahn Water Park. It's a perfect cool-down spot in Texas and a pretty fun day, plus those slides are just so much fun. Looking for some tasty food and craft beers, head over to Muck and Fuss. That's something of a legend in New Braunfels. Their burgers and seasonal brews are so good. If that's not your thing, head over to the totally informal Huzak Grill. Their blackened catfish is so yummy. Also, just outside New Braunfels streets is the Natural Bridge Caverns too. It's one of the largest caverns in Texas and well worth visiting for a tour. Just prep in advance for that humidity. Number 8. Padre Island. Looking for an island adventure? Then Padre Island is for you. It's one of the best places in Texas to explore on the south coast. Of course, once here, you have to spend some time visiting the Padre Island National Seashore and Whitecap Beach for its sandy stretches. Also, don't forget to take a stroll up Bob Hall Pier and grab a bite at Texas Mesquite Barbecue. It's nothing fancy, but is a great spot for barbecue in Padre Island. Their smoked brisket is so good. Number 9. Galveston. Not too far from Houston, Galveston is pretty easy to visit for a day trip from the city or longer chill out. With gorgeous beaches, the historic downtown area, and lots of foodie joints, it's the kind of place that's perfect to chill out. Once in the city, be sure to spend plenty of time at the Pleasure Pier. That's totally fun. The rides are epic and the beaches are just gorgeous too. Nearby, you've also got Moody Mansion, which was built back in the 1800s and is totally beautiful inside. It almost feels as though you're stepping back in time. For a bite to eat, check out Gilhooly's Restaurant and Oyster Bar. Gilhooly's is an old-school restaurant that's totally casual and tasty, plus their homemade shrimp gumbo is everything. Of course, you would have some of their oysters and their signature, Gilhooly's Spicy Margarita. Number 10. Houston. Initially, Houston was going to be a quick stopping point for us on our trip around Texas, but after arriving, we decided to stay a little longer. Probably the largest city in Texas, Houston has heaps going for it, and it's totally fun to visit for a fun-filled trip. After checking into your hotel, head straight outside to explore the downtown area around the Museum of Natural Science. We totally love the mix of museums, parks, and quirky foodie spots that make Houston so great for a yummy brunch. Head over and grab a table at the Breakfast Club. They have some of the tastiest waffles in all of Texas. What do you think about our video? Tell us in the comment section below. And if you have any questions or suggestions, then feel free to mention them in the comment section, and we will surely respond to your request. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.